lights in the ceiling, the daylight harvesting, all of
We
the...
learned the business at the dining room table every night from my father. So we grew up in the business, and we grew up loving real estate. We loved building buildings, and my father had a flair for architecture. About 17 years ago, I had this desire to change the direction of real estate because buildings are the largest polluters in the world. They represent 40% of the energy used in America. And buildings are very inefficient. Nobody cared about energy efficiency at all. It didn't matter. There was no ramifications. The more you used, the better it was. But reality eventually set in. The rest of the world also wants energy. We're breathing each other's air, and it turns out that electricity becomes a very, very important aspect of our lives, and it becomes a very expensive component of operating a business, and it can greatly affect the direction and the health and the economy of your country. So I realized that I could also become a catalyst to change the entire way all buildings are built in America. That was my little idea. I discovered that when I went to visit all the buildings we had that were very, very super green, people didn't necessarily look that much better than they did when they were in buildings that were kind of poisonous. So I started to think that maybe there was more to real estate. There was more to creating an environment than just the quality of the air inside the building and the energy efficiencies of the mechanical systems and all the designs. So is it possible to go beyond green? Is it possible to create buildings that affect intelligence, that affect human capital? Because electricity is $3 a foot, but human capital, which is why we rent space, is for people, that's $400 a foot. Could the building become an investment in human capital? So what are those principles of architecture that lift the human spirit, that awaken the mind, that make you more creative, that make you enjoy the place that you're working? And it turns out they are basic principles of architecture that have been around for millennia. In the Indian tradition, it's called Vastu, or Vedic architecture. What it is, they're principles of orientation and proportions. How the building is located on a lot, on its location, is also relevant. So these are very simple principles. The buildings face east. The morning sun has a quality to it. It turns out also that if you face your building east, you use less energy because there's more heat and more daylight on the building. Therefore, there's a lot more free lighting. And now we're learning that people respond to daylight. The more the daylight, the sharper the mind. So we took all these elements together and enhanced them in this building. So not only is it LEED Platinum, where we use the least amount of energy as possible, but we created a building that has its own energy that people thrive in. So that's the future of real estate, where buildings can elevate the human spirit and allow us to be more creative.
We really wanted to go beyond these energy measurement tools, so beyond Energy Star and beyond LEED, to start really taking a deep dive into our buildings and what more we could do to just operate them better. And so the solution was coming up with a real-time energy program.
So it's just a matter of watching everything. We've changed all the boilers in our buildings. We have new 97% efficient boilers. A really cold day with air handlers on each floor in our buildings, we can actually change the static pressure set points, move the air a little bit slower so it feels like it's a lot warmer than what it really is.
In 2 years of the program, we were able to reduce our energy portfolio by 14%. That equates to over $1 million in utility savings.
We monitor these things constantly every day now, and it's really optimized what we've saved over the last couple of years.
Our payback on this program was less than 1 year, and we continue to save money. So while we started with a capital investment, we're continually making money, reducing our impact on the environment, and reducing operating costs for the clients in our buildings.